This is a lecture on time. ¿Qué hora es? Or what time is it? To tell time in Spanish, let's first look at the hour, how to mention the hour, such as 2 o'clock. You're going to use the phrase son las if the hour is more than one. Son las. Time is considered feminine. That's why there's a las here. So son las. Son las dos. So what about 3 o'clock? If we're using this phrase, what would 3 o'clock be? Son las tres. Son las tres. 4 o'clock? Son las cuatro. Son las cuatro. 5 o'clock? Son las cinco. Son las cinco. Now, I had mentioned if this throws you off, then just forget I mentioned it, and just remember that you use this phrase, son las, with the hour, if the hour is more than one. Son las. Some people, they read or they hear me say time is feminine, and some people, just a few, they tend to, when they write their numbers, change their numbers to be feminine also. Please don't worry about that. These aren't adjectives. Leave the numbers as they are, as they should be. So just worry about the phrase, son las, if the hour is more than one. So, 1 o'clock. That is just 1 hour. So can you guess what the phrase would be? It will not be son las, because that's for more than one. What do you think it would be? Es la una. Es la una. Now 1 is the only one that changes. It's going to be una. Una, because the number 1 can change to un, una, uno. So if there's any exception, it would be the number 1, and that's it. The phrase en punto. En punto. To emphasize the time of the day, use this phrase, en punto. So like, it's almost like saying on the dot. You know, it's 2 o'clock exactly. Son las 9 en punto. So you can add that phrase on. E. E. Now, let's talk about adding on minutes. If you want to add on minutes, then the basic way to do that is to use E. Por ejemplo, son las 2:05. It is 2 o'clock, 2:05. There are 2 hours and 5. Son las 10:20. Cuarto, cuarto. Cuarto, not to be confused with cuatro. Cuarto means quarter, or 1/4. A quarter, or 1/4 of a dollar, is 25 cents. So a quarter of 1 hour, or 1/4 of an hour, is 15 minutes. So we're going to use this phrase cuarto in place of quince, or 15 minutos. Por ejemplo, 4:15. Son las 4:15. So we didn't put quince there. Do not put quince, put cuarto. Also, I put this up here on purpose. Be careful when you're writing these numbers, because some people get them confused. Be careful with the T and the R. Cuatro for 4, and then cuarto with quarter, or 15 minutes. So just watch how you place the R and the T. Another example, 1:15. Es la 1:15. We'll use the cuarto phrase whenever we're talking about 15 minutes. It's an hour and 15 minutes, or it's a quarter until the next hour. So that's the two uses that we'll use it for. Media. Media. Media means half or middle. Half of an hour is 30 minutes. So instead of saying 30, you need to say media. Por ejemplo, 2:30. Son las 2:30. 1:30. Es la 1:30. Menos. Menos is another important phrase. Menos means less or minus. So we will use menos anytime the minutes are past 30, or anytime a minute is 31 through 59 minutes. So the process I suggest doing is going to the next hour and minusing the minutes. That's basically how you'll write it out. Here's some examples. 3:50. So we're going to go to the next hour, and then we're going to minus 10 minutes. Go to the next hour, which is 4. Son las 4 menos 10. So 4 minus 10. Minus 10 minutes. So visually it can look like this. Sometimes it helps people to see a math problem up there. So son las 4 menos 10. What about this one? Okay, son las 10 menos what? Son las 10 menos 5. Otro ejemplo. So if it's a 1 o'clock, go to the next hours. 2 o'clock, son las 2 menos 20. Otro ejemplo. What do you think this one's will be? Okay. Son las 6 menos cuarto. Some of you might have said 15. Remember, instead of 15, say cuarto. So, son las 6 menos 15. Sorry, cuarto. Menos cuarto. Okay. Mediodía. This is another phrase. For noon, noon on the dot, use es mediodía. So, ¿qué hora es? What time is it? You would say es mediodía. So, anytime it's past noon, like 12:01, 12:02, then you'll no longer say mediodía, you'll say 12, son las 12. So, keep that in mind. Medianoche, midnight, es medianoche. So that's how you'll say it's midnight. But again, anytime past 12, 12:01, 12:30, that's when you'll use son las 12. Okay, let's talk about AM and PM. If you want to specify more what time it is, what part of the day, AM is de la mañana. PM, early or afternoon, de la tarde. PM at night, de la noche. Now what's the difference? Because with days of the week, we saw por la tarde. And then AM and PM with time phrases, we're using de la tarde. So what is the difference? De la tarde is used with specific time. Por ejemplo, 1 p.m. Es la una de la tarde. Por la tarde is used generally. There's no specific time stated. So with the days of the week, I used por la tarde because it was generally that part of the day. So here's, in this example, por la tarde me gusta correr. In the afternoon, I like to run. So that's the main difference. So do not get those mixed up. Okay, practice. So I have several practice times, and what I suggest you do is you pause after I give a time, that you pause the video and do your work on spare paper and with a spare paper and pencil, and then unpause it when you're ready to see the answer. So that would work better as opposed to me giving a time and waiting 2 minutes. That would be more efficient. So I'm going to go ahead and go through at pretty normal speed. So again, pause between each time so you can get the most out of this practice. Okay, 6 o'clock. ¿Qué hora es? What time is it? Son las 6. 3 o'clock. Son las 3. 1 o'clock. Es la una. 1:10. Es la 1:10. 5:15. Son las 5:15. 10:30. Son las 10:30. 2:15. Son las 2:15. 1:30. Es la 1:30. 7:55. Son las 8:05. 3:45. Son las 4:15. 12:55. Es la 1:05. 1:45. Son las 2:15. 5:35. Son las 6:25. 10:10 a.m. Son las 10:10 de la mañana. 7:15 p.m. Son las 7:15 de la noche. 1:09 p.m. Es la 1:09 de la tarde. Bueno, adiós.